discussion about what is monetary policy. Right? So today we will proceed with the monetary policy, then followed by fiscal policy. So remember there are different policy tools. See to your slide. Slide re dekhantu. So while we are talking about monetary policy, as if I have already discussed that monetary policy has been an initiation of the RBI. All the rules regulation related to formation of tax, related to change of taxes, related to the facilities to the priority sector, related to the CRR, SLR, repo, reverse repo, all these are the initiation of RBI, which are somehow or which are the part of monetary policy. Right? That is being already been discussed by us. Aji kon discussion kariba. We'll first talk about different policy tools that affect the economic rate. So, what are the policy tools? That means monetary policy tools that affect the economic rate. The first monetary policy, tool are discount rate, reserve requirements, open market operations, and interest on reserves. Right? So while we are talking about what these tools are all about or why these tools are very essential in point of view of study. So I see to the first line, monetary supply is the economy and rate of interest charge are two critical parameters that affect the economic policy as well as the monetary policy. Today we tools would have paduchu. If we will go on through this all these tools, we could able to understand why monetary policy is a very essential part of our economy to in point of view of state. First is our discount rate. Now bank or discount rate कौन according to you? अपन मैंने कौन पूछा? Bank or discount rate कौन? Yes, anyone? What is bank's discount rate?
0%.
Yes.
Maybe ଯେତେବେଳେ ମାନେ ଯେତେବେଳେ customer repay କରୁନି ତାକୁ जो discount ଦେଇକିନା ପୁଣି ମାନେ
Yes, absolutely correct. One of the discount rate, what we all know, that is called settlement. Right? हमें तो discount rate तो कौन हमें तो पूछो कौन? If I'm talking about what is discount rate, discount rate in a bank language is called settlement. Now, why the settlement was there? Fine. So, अपन monetary policy जेमती कि last class रे भी discussion करते monetary policy रा basic objective है कौन? Creation of kind of loan or advances, but it was not stop only you being created the credit. आपण खाली credit creation करदेले credit ordinance creation करदेले आपण काम was not stopped over that point. What next that you have to do? The next is you have to make a recovery of that creation of credit. What is being the prime motive of a bank? But a bank रा prime motive है कि लोगों को motivate करिबा to take loan, to take short term, long term loans and different kind of loans whatever is provided by a bank. So bank रा काम है से motivate करिबा लोगों को भाई अपना loan नियंतु. But कौन loan नेला परे the work was over of bank no. One of the major work is to make a recovery. जेमती कि अपन नहीं जानता अपन को personal loan होचुन. Fine. You take a personal loan where the interest rate somehow around 13%. Somehow around 13%. You take a vehicle loan, so the interest rate is around 8 to 10% or 7 to 10%. If you take an educational loan, the interest rate is 15%. Fine. If you will go for a buying of an electronic product, the interest rate in some electronic rate is 0. Fine. So how these all are being calculated? Why these all are being calculated? And how these all are set it. Got it? That is one of the major work of RBI, जो कि discount rate plays a very vital role. For an example, you buy a vehicle, fine. Vehicle रो interest rate काहे कम? You buy a vehicle and vehicle रो गोटे चाबी रहला bank पाखरे or any financial organization from which you are taking a loan to buy a vehicle. So you will have to pay 8% or 9% interest. For an example, you will not able to pay the interest along with the principal amount, then the organization will certainly take away the product which are being used by you with a non-repayment system. Got it? So bank कौन करिबो ताको सेल कर दबो and तारो जो liability हे जाइतिला ताको से recover करि दबो. When we are talking about loan of personal loan. Now personal loan is not having any mortgage. कौनसी mortgage नहीं था देने सेठी आपण कोन होची ना loan ता आपण 13% रे no repay करि पाउचोती, then certain kind of penalty and punishment was being offered by the bank. But सेठी कोन होची ना penalty punishment रे होची कोन किछि नै. So ए जो interest rate ता धीरे धीरे आपण को बॉडी चलुची. जेतले बैंक देखुची कि it will be converted to NPA, non performing asset, and then the person Mr. X was unable to pay the amount. It was very huge right now. Sati asuchi bank was settlement. Now sometimes bank makes settlement on the interest khali principal amount nocha, and sometimes it may be discount on the principal amount along with the interest. Got it? Now came to the educational loan. For an example, upon educational loan which is around 15% of the interest rate. Now, if you are not able to repay and you got a job in company Y, then while you are having a job, जेतले आपण job पाउचंती, the bank will take the money from your salary account. Fine, but सेतेरे भी uncertainty कोन आपण job पाइबे न पाइबे जदी. That's why here the interest rate very high. आउ गोटे इंटरेस्ट रेट कथा मु आपन मानन कहूची जोटा कि हमें 0% इंटरेस्ट रे भी थरा आपन गोटे वॉशिंग मशीन किनिबार अछि. आपन गले वॉशिंग मशीन रो शोरूम को and they will offer you that आपन 0%
इंग्लिश में बोलो ना.
Sorry,
मैम हिंदी या इंग्लिश में बोलो. ओडिया आई एम नॉट एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड.
okay. So if you want to go to buy a washing machine, right? Now the organization offers you with a certain 0% interest. Why? Because they want to take a very initiation that you should have to make an interest to buy the product. If you are not able to repay, the product has to be recovered. But if you are able to repay, then they will offer more and more product for 0% interest, and these 0% interest products came along with a semi-luxurious product, so that it was not even about to jump to 1 lakh or 2 lakh. So that's why 0% interest is there. But RBI, fine. So we right now in Indian market, if you see in every day in paper or maybe through the news channels and all, you must be heard about certain Chinese loan organization. These are called online loans, Chinese loan organization. Fine. They will also offer you certain kind of short-term loans, like short-term like short amount of loan, which is maybe a lakh rupees, maybe 1.5 lakhs rupees, or in between that. Fine. So what initially they will offer you loan within a fixed interest rate, maybe 13% or 14%. Then what happened? They will certainly change the interest rate to up till 100%. Second time, it will came along with the 200%, because they are not under the rule and regulation of RBI. Got it? Because they are not under the rules and regulation of RBI, that's why they can able to change the interest rates as per their requirement. Got it? Now the person who is taking loan, there is no certain kind of mortgage, there is no certain kind of verification. If you have a PAN card, then you could able to have a loan. Only they have to access your mobile, your gallery, your contact details, and this much. and they will provide you a certain kind of loan. You can see if a monetary agency was not there, then the interest rate is fluctuate from a particular certain point to 200 or 210 or 220%. So you cannot do anything. That means you take, for an example, you are taking 30,000 as a loan, you have to repay around 90,000. And certainly one cannot repay 13 versus 30,000 versus 90,000. And certainly there are so many cases are being registered in the court, in the judiciary system against this Chinese loan system or online loan system. But it is the duty of the person, of the of the person who is really looking forward for the loan. Why I should take a loan from this unauthorized agency? Why I will not take a loan from authorized agency, where might be discount rate, reservation requirement, or reserve requirement, or interest rate on reserves is always being fixed the minimum and maximum margin. That means what? RBI always frees the minimum interest rate and maximum interest rate for the commercial banks. So one commercial bank cannot offer maximum to this particular point or this particular percentage of loan interest. You cannot exceed from that. Fine. That's why it is very essential that while you are asking for loan, while you are in need of money, don't go for any unauthorized system of loans or credit organizations who could able to provide credit very easily, but the recovery was certainly very dangerous. Fine. That is called discount rate. Came to next one, that was called reserve requirements. Now, what you understood by reserve requirements? To understand reserve requirements, we need to understand two terms. That is called CRR and SLR. So before going to understood what is CRR and SLR, first we need to understood what these two concepts, why these concepts are being provided by RBI, what is the benefit of this concept. Let me change. अच्छी name दे देखिए. CRR is there in the second point. Fine. I'll first explain why CRR and SLR are two very essential and important tools of reservation requirements. What do you understood by reservation? Jimti ame ko jo reservation, that means I reserve a ticket for myself for a particular date of future. That is reservation, na? I will take a ticket of train of a particular date, that is December 12 for myself from today. I reserve that. I reserve a seat in hospital on dated area. Reservation means you have to reserve something for a future requirement. Got it? Future requirement banking, you have to reserve this amount of things, this amount of money, this particular equipment, this particular thing, or whatever. Got it? Like that, RBI also required money. Fine. So RBI tried to make some reservation requirement which is being implemented in the commercial banks. There are two reservation requirements that we will study according to your syllabus, that is called CRR and SLR. Now what is CRR? CRR is called as cash reservation ratio. Look to your slide. What it is written? Cash reserve ratio is a specified amount of bank deposit which banks are required to keep with the RBI in form of reserves or balances for the future activity. The higher the CRR with the RBI, the lower will be liquidity in the system, and vice versa you can see. The CRR was reduced from 15% in 1990 to 5% in 2002. As of December 2019, the CRR is 4%. Ajika date re jodi apna CRR dekhibe, kichi nahi, simply you have to ask, because I haven't See ना जीरो कितनी अच्छी CRR. Let's see. So today's CRR rate is 4.5%. Now what is this CRR rate? While there is a bank, fine, there is a commercial bank. Okay, there is a commercial bank. I'm giving a very, very nominal example. There is a commercial bank. Is it visible? Whiteboard visible? होची तो मन
मैम
Yes, ma'am.
बोर्ड विजिबल होची जे लेखाटा टिके लाइट होची.
Okay. Look to this now. This arrow is visible.
यस मैम.
Okay. Now, when we are talking about commercial bank, for an example, today date is 22nd of November 2023. Let's talk about today this particular syndicate bank, which is there in DDC branch. His complete earning is for 100 rupees. I'm talking about in a nominal rate. Fine. Just an example, 100 rupees. So today's CRR percentage, which is announced by RBI, that is 4.5%. That means the 4%, 4.5%, that's 5% and 4%. Now, this 4% of the total amount of that bank is around 4 rupees, which is drawn out to RBI. Now, the closing balance of 21st November 2023 is 100 rupees. This is what the closing balance. Now, the opening balance for 22nd November 2023 is 96 rupees for a bank. Fine. This 4% is a permanent drain out to RBI. RBI will not going to return it. It is a permanent drain out. Got it? Now it says that CRR always been fluctuated maximum 15% to minimum 2%. If you fall down, if the CRR percentage was fall down from 2, we could able to say that we are collapsed. That means our financial or our banking organization, banking system is being collapsed. So how this calculation was formed? This calculation was formed along with this. For an example, if this 100 rupees is 1000 rupees, then every particular bank is having a higher rate of profit for a day. Now the CRR percentage increases to 6%. That means RBI get maximum money from the commercial bank. क्या होता है ना, जब आपका ज्यादा अर्निंग होता है कोई भी कमर्शियल बैंक का या फिर ऑल कमर्शियल बैंक्स का, राइट, सो उससे क्या होता है ना, आपको ज्यादा ओपनिंग बैलेंस नहीं चाहिए. फॉर एन एग्जांपल, यू हैव 100 रुपीस ओपनिंग बैलेंस, अगर आपका 96 स्टेट फॉल डाउन किया तो फिर आप कैसे, अगर कोई 10 बजे आता है या तो फिर 10:30 बजे आता है, बोलता है मेरा यहाँ पे फिक्स डिपॉजिट है, वो है 10 लाख रुपए का, तो मैं उसे विड्रॉ करूंगा और करूंगी. So it is his money or her money. You cannot stop her or cannot stop him to take away his money along with the interest rate. Got it? फिर उसके लिए क्या होता है ना, अगर आपका अर्निंग कम हुआ तो फिर इसके हिसाब से आपका CRR फॉल डाउन करता है, आप ज्यादा RBI को नहीं दे सकते. If the earning was very high, then you could have a opening balance certainly with a very nominal, very high rate. Now वहां पे क्या होता है ना, आपका CRR इंक्रीज करता है. Got it? So CRR will have to be fluctuating.
Ma'am, can you repeat it again, ma'am?
CRR का कैसे वर्जन होता है, कैसे वो वाला रिपीट करूं?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So if the bank earning is very high, like today's all commercial bank collaboratively earn something around 1000 crore rupees. Fine, which is 5 times more from the previous date. Fine. Now what happened? The CRR ratio increases. CRR percentage increases by RBI because it was identified every day. ये जो CRR का जो रेशियो होता है, जो परसेंटेज होता है, वो एवरी डे आइडेंटिफाइड होता है आरबीआई के थ्रू, एंड आरबीआई उसे एवरी डे चेंज भी कर सकता है. इट वाज देयर इन द हैंड ऑफ आरबीआई. फॉर एन एग्जांपल, आपको 20 तारीख को आपका टोटल अर्निंग था $500 करोड़. आज क्या हुआ? आपका बढ़ गया, आपका 1000 करोड़ हो गया. तो फिर क्या होगा ना, कमर्शियल बैंक का जो क्लोजिंग अमाउंट होता है वो 1000 करोड़ है, बट ओपनिंग अमाउंट वहीं पे आपका आरबीआई सीआरआर का परसेंटेज बढ़ा देगा, लाइक 7% और 8%. सो उसके हिसाब से आपका ओपनिंग बैलेंस घट जाता है, बट इट वाज फॉर द बेनिफिट ऑफ द कमर्शियल बैंक. व्हाई? बिकॉज ये जो सीआरआर जाके जमा होता है आरबीआई के पास, व्हिच इज बीइंग डिपॉजिटेड इन आरबीआई, that is being utilized for commercial bank when commercial bank is in depression. वो कैसे होता है? I will tell you. When commercial bank are depression, because RBI का RBI do not have any kind of expenditure by itself. So whatever money is being deposited, that is used for commercial banks through the various different way. That I will tell you. अभी ये समझ में आया? If the earning of the commercial bank increases, CRR percentage will increases. तो रिजर्व ये जो 4 रुपीस हुआ, या तो फिर 400 हुआ, या फिर 4 लाख हुआ, या फिर 4 करोड़ हुआ, या तो फिर 400 करोड़ हुआ पर डे, ये होता है रिजर्व. कहाँ पे होता है रिजर्व? आरबीआई में होता है रिजर्व. इट इज हाईली रिक्वायर्ड फॉर अ स्मूथ कंडक्ट ऑफ कमर्शियल बैंक्स. Then came SLR. So just read that. I am reading out. You just look to this slide. SLR क्या होता है? All financial institution has to maintain what? A certain quantity of liquid assets with themselves at any point in time of their total time and demand liability. This is known as statutory liquidity ratio, where in some books it is called as time liability also. Fine. The assets are kept in non-cash form, such as precious metal, bonds. Fine. And the variation, ये क्या variation होता है? जैसे इसका upper and lower limit होता है 15 to 2%, वैसे उसका होता है 25% to 15%. So try to understand this. Now, what you understood by time liability? Just go back to your financial management paper. Right? What is time liability? Anyone can please answer? What is time liability? जैसे कि ले लीजिए, you at your family, as I'm talking about as a personal case. In your family, there are large number of gold ornaments that you keep. Might be your mother or wife or sister is keeping a large amount of gold. Remember, gold is a very useful asset right now because the value of gold day by day increases. That's why it is a very valuable, asset for any person. Now, what happened? There is an opportunity came where you require some lakhs rupees, some 5 lakhs or 10 lakh rupees. Now, this is what a time liability that you have to pay within a month. Fine, that is the opportunity came where you require some lakhs rupees, and that tenure, the period is 1 month. In between that, you have to collect that 1 lakh rupees and you have to start the project. Now, what you have to do? There are certain ways through which you could able to collect the money. That is loan, that is maybe you break some investments or something like that. But breaking investment means what? You have loss. If it is not matured, fine, you might be face loss. Now, taking a loan, we say what is that? That means you have to pay interest. Fine. If it is a personal loan, the interest is very high. If it is a mortgage loan, then maybe interest is somehow manageable. But you have to pay interest. Now, what do you have? You have large amount of gold ornaments that you could able to sell it, or you could able to keep it as a mortgage where the interest rate is nominal. Then you could able to find out lakhs rupees immediately. Then you could start your project. This is what called a time liability for an individual. Like that, all commercial banks have time liability. How time liability will come? If your closing amount was very high and opening amount is low, then if the organization is asking for the person or the customer of one particular customer, let's talk about, came along with next day and asking for that same example, if you take consider that your closing balance is 100, opening is 96. Now Mr. X is a customer of bank, came exactly at 10:30 and asking for a loan which is amount of 100 rupees, which is his deposit at the bank. Now what to do? Your closing amount, sorry, opening amount is 96. You cannot give 100. Now for that time you have to ask for time liability. जो आपने प्रीसियस अमाउंट में कन्वर्ट करके जो पैसा रखा हुआ है बैंक में, तो वो you have to make it liquefied. Fine. Now when it is make it liquefied, turn to liquidity, then you could able to give the person certain amount of money what he is asking for, what is his rights to ask. So that is what called the time liability. बैंक क्या होता है ना, जब फॉर एन एग्जांपल बैंक का डिप्रेशन में चल रहा है, जब एसएलआर को हम लोग लिक्विफाइड करते हैं, नॉर्मली दैट पीरियड फॉर बैंक इज डिप्रेशन. फाइन. सो ज्यादा डिप्रेशन कब आता है? जब आपने काफी लोन दे दिया और रिकवरी नहीं हो रहा है, सो वो डिप्रेशन होता है. या तो फिर लोग डिपॉजिट्स तोड़ रहे हैं, अपना ले मतलब विड्रॉ कर रहे हैं अपना सारा डिपॉजिट्स एंड ऑल, वो भी टाइम होता है जब बैंक्स में डिप्रेशन आता है. Now when depression is there and maximum people have invested at your bank certain amount of money and maybe the depression came because of the non recovery of loans, but जो लोगों ने डिप्रेशन में जो लोगों ने डिपॉजिट्स किया है, ये तो उनका अपना पैसा है ना. इट इज द राइट ऑफ दैट इंडिविजुअल कस्टमर टू टेक आउट द मनी फ्रॉम द बैंक. अब बैंक करेगा क्या? उसके पास पैसा नहीं है. वहां पे मिस्टर एक्स वाई जेड और मेरे ABCD सब खड़े हुए हैं अपना डिपॉजिट लेने के लिए, क्योंकि उनको चाहिए, उनका डिपॉजिट से उनका पैसा चाहिए, उनको जो सेव किया है. Now in that time the money which is being saved or reserved through this SLR format by the commercial bank, it is being liquefied. Right? It is being liquefied and ये कहाँ पे जाता है? लिक्विफाइड होके जो लोगों ने आपको डिपॉजिट्स दिया है उनके पास जाता है. Now the question में you ask, मैडम ये कहाँ पे इतना जल्दी पैसा बेचते हैं so that it was liquefied? ये कहाँ पे बेचते हैं? ये बेचते हैं RBI. Fine. They will try to sell this product to RBI. If RBI is incapable to buy this product, then QIBs, qualified institutional buyers, उनको भी बेचते हैं so that the money immediately inflowed to the commercial bank and commercial bank try to manage this liability within a tenure of period. You understood, Philomena? These two concepts?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. This is what called reserve. A minute, just a minute. Leave this mouse. Okay. Now came to the third one, open market operation. Open market operation means RBI try to open large number of or large quantity of small scale banks or financial institutions so that each and every one.
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, excuse me. Ma'am, today SLR value and SLR maximum and minimum value is there, ma'am?
SLR maximum and minimum value is certainly freezed by the RBI, that is 25 to 15. Fine. Just a minute, I will say the SLR rate today. Today's SLR rate is 18%. Today's SLR rate is 18%. उसका मतलब क्या होता है ना, आज जो बैंक रिजर्व करेगा मनी वो 18% रिजर्व कर सकता है अपना टोटल अमाउंट से. दैट मीन्स ये जो 4% चला गया, उसके बाद जो 96 रुपीस आपके बैंक में रखा हुआ है फॉर ओपनिंग बैलेंस, उसमें से 18% like 18% which is all around like 17 point something rupees, that they could able to turn to precious metals or something like government security products वो खरीद कर अपने पास टाइम लाइबिलिटी के लिए रख सकता है एज अ रिजर्व. Right. Came to the next one that was called open market operation. Now, what do you understood by open market operation? Open market operation means the operation which is wide people could able to use. So, how wide people could able to use for that? Always, the RBI and the monetary policy take initiation to create small business organizations, small banks, small investment opportunities. You could able to see around yourself right now the financial obligations. I'm not talking about bank. Financial organization institutions, small or large scale institutions are formed with a very huge amount. Their work is to create liquidity, so create credit and give facilities to the general public. Fine. That was called open market operation. And the last one called interest reserves. Interest reserves means RBI always being trying to make a nominal interest rate for the general people in each and every particular kind of a product. Right now, might be that is a saving interest rate, might be your salary interest, the salary account interest rate, RD interest rate, or maybe it was loan or different kind of loan interest rate. ये आरबीआई क्या करता है ना, उसका मैक्सिमम और मिनिमम एक स्लैब फिक्स कर देता है. नाउ अकॉर्डिंग टू योर रिक्वायरमेंट ऑफ अ बैंक, you could able to avail in between that. You cannot go beyond the maximum or go below to the minimum. Got it? That was called interest rate reserves.
Ma'am, it is also selected for different people, ma'am.
Yes, no, it is not. Yes, definitely. One very good question. It is selected. जो मैंने छोड़ दिया था. It is selected like in two parameters. One is for the appeal group, one for the priority sector. Those who are priority sector, the loans are offered with a nominal interest rate, and those who are non-priority sector like APL above the poverty lane, then they could have a certain kind of a interest rate. Then that is only two differences. If you have a APL or BPL, आज का date में we said that is weaker section and non-weaker section in finance. So those who came under the weaker section, they have different facilities, and those who are non-weaker section, they have different facilities from the bank. Now came to what are the basic two objectives. It is already been discussed. बस अपन का slide रचे, that's why I am repeating. First objective of monetary policy, that is create a price stability in the banking organization. Growth, which are it was marked in red, so you could able to see it. Growth, that means growth rate has to be stable and accelerated. Sustainable economic growth, where sustainable economy somehow says that fulfilling the social economic obligations. So there are three basic objectives in the first primary objective. First one, RBI always to maintain a price stability. Price stability क्या होता है? Price stability मतलब ये होता है जो commodity का price होता है, जैसे कि loan हो गया, आपका RD हो गया, या तो फिर fixed deposit हो गया, या तो फिर आपका saving rates हो गया, या तो फिर आपका recurring rates हो गया. इसमें एक stability ले जाओ, so that people definitely, जैसे कि last time if you go back to last year, all IRDA has increased its interest rate. IRDA has increased its interest rate. For an example, आपने health insurance पिछले साल दिया था 8,000 रुपए for yourself only for the whole year. उसके बाद जब आप 22 में दिए, 22 में ये आपको हो गया 9,000 या फिर 10,000. So आपने you called that fellow person जिसके थ्रू से आपने बनाया, यार भाई मैंने तो लास्ट ईयर 7,000 या फिर नियर टू दैट 8,000 दिया था, इस साल 10,000 क्यों हुआ? ना भाई IRDA ने इंटरेस्ट रेट बढ़ा दिया. मैं क्या कर सकता हूँ? ये तो आप देखिए सिस्टम जनरेटेड है, आपको दिखाएगा. भाई इससे क्या होता है ना, आपका जो एक बजट है, जो आपने बजट फिक्स किया हुआ है, वो थोड़ा गड़बड़ हो गया. वैसे ही आपने लोन लिया था, जैसे कि 2021 में 21-22 में आरबीआई ने लोन में इंटरेस्ट रेट में बढ़ा दिया था. सो आपने लोन लिया है और आपका इंस्टॉलमेंट फॉर दैट लोन इज समहाउ लाइक 8,570 रुपीस, और एक महीना आप देखते हैं आपके अकाउंट से ईसीएस हुआ है 9,000 समथिंग. सो आप कॉल करते हो बैंक के, भाई ये तो 8,000 समथिंग था, ये 9,000 कैसे हो गया? ना 9,000 हो गया क्योंकि आरबीआई ने इंटरेस्ट रेट बढ़ा दिया है. Now, Why this interest rate increases? When you do not have a price stability. When banking organization do have a little bit depression, ये price stability नहीं रख पा रहा है, so that's why the interest rate में आप fluctuate देख रहे हैं, right? But RBI certainly has to maintain this price stability, otherwise people have a fear to make investment impact. Then next क्या होता है, ग्रोथ इन प्राइस स्टेबिलिटी. ये अगर आपका ग्रोथ हुआ प्राइस स्टेबिलिटी में एक्सेलरेशन के साथ, देन आपको क्या होता है ना, लोन का जो परसेंटेज है वो फॉल डाउन करता है, जो सेविंग रेट्स होता है वो इंक्रीज करता है. नाउ मैक्सिमम पीपल आर अट्रैक्टेड टुवर्ड्स द लोन, मैक्सिमम पीपल आर अट्रैक्टेड टुवर्ड्स द सेविंग आल्सो, राइट. सो वो होता है क्या, ग्रोथ इन प्राइस स्टेबिलिटी, जो और एक बहुत ज्यादा it is very required objective of RBI. थर्ड होता है sustainability in economic growth. वो sustainability कैसे आएगा? Sustainability of economic growth only being created if the socio-economic objective of the people can be fulfilled. Now, वो socio-economic objective fulfill कैसे होगा? Socio-economic objective only being fulfilled if you could able to provide maximum, consumption ability for the people to go and buy the products which are available in bank. Agar, if the consumption ability increases of the people, then it will certainly reflected on the sustainability in economic growth. Got it? Type of monetary policy. There are two different type of monetary policy we normally seen. That was called contradictory and explain or explanatory. Fine. Contradictory क्या होता है? जो contradictory policy होता है, it will increases the interest rate and limit of the outstanding monetary supply to slow the growth and decrease the inflation. Whereas the prices of goods and services in the economy rise and reduce the purchasing power of the economy. देखिए कॉन्ट्राडिक्टरी क्यों होता है ना, कॉन्ट्राडिक्ट करता है. इट वाज somehow contradict to the fiscal policy. If the commodity prices increases because of the because of the demand and supply, because of certain kind of weather problem, or might be the cultivation was very less, if that was happened, or might be it was something like India do not have some particular imports what normally India made. So if these are the reasons, then we do have a high inflation on the product rates. And when high inflation in the product rates, then the purchasing power of the commodity decreases. Fine. क्या होता है ना, हम लोग सारा पैसा खाने में, रहने में, ट्रैवल में, क्योंकि ये तो जनरल यूटिलिटी सर्विसेज है, इसमें हम लोग कितना कटौती करेंगे. सो खाने में, रहने में, इंटरनेट में, मोबाइल में, टीवी में, ये सब खर्चा ये तो you cannot restrict it. और मे बी योर इलेक्ट्रिसिटी बिल, पानी का बिल, आप इसमें कटौती नहीं कर सकते. कटौती किस में करेंगे? आपका आरडी चल रहा है, आपने क्लोज कर दिया. फाइन. सो व्हाई? बिकॉज आई कुड नॉट एबल टू सेव. ये होता है कॉन्ट्राडिक्टरी फॉर्मेट ऑफ द जनरल बिल. व्हेन द कॉन्ट्राडिक्टरी फॉर्मेट वाज देयर, मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी क्या करता है, उसका जो रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट है उसको फॉल डाउन करवाता है. So जब rate of interest fall down करवाता है, it is for the betterment of the people, for the betterment of the society. But individually, RBI was being somehow go to depression. So RBI का क्या होता है ना, वो खुद depression में जाता है. But it was contradictory क्योंकि it was saying that RBI always look to the general public. फिर होता है explanatory और expansion कहते हैं, कैसे होता है. During the time of slowdown or a recession, an expansion policy, growth policy of economic activity was being initiated. By lowering the interest rate, savings become less attractive, so that consumer spending and borrowing increases. Agar if there is a recession, then how to attract the people? Little bit lalach you could able to offer, which is being made by RBI. थोड़ा सा लालच आप दीजिए लोगों को, थोड़ा सा इंटरेस्ट रेट पे कॉम्प्रोमाइज कीजिए, देन पीपल विल केम एंड इन्वेस्ट स्टार्टिंग. Goal of monetary policy: control the inflation. That was the first goal of monetary policy कि inflation को control करो. So the consumption ability of the people, consumption parity of the people increases. Second one is control the employment and increase the employability for the people. That's why जो broadening होता है, जो initiation होता है to create new organizations, new financial organized institutions, so that maximum people get employable through that. So control and reduce the unemployability, that was the second goal. And third goal is a stable exchange rate, a stable interest rate, always influence people to make investment. That was the three different goals. Now instrument may I have already teach you what is CRR and SLR. Open market operation already been discussed. Banking rate already been discussed, and your credit selling also already been discussed. That's why I'm not going to further going to. Yeah, पढ़ लेना. Everything was there in your slide. I will share this slide after this class. Now, what is fiscal policy? आपको याद है first previous to previous class we had a little bit discussion about what is fiscal policy. Have you remember? I told you that fiscal policy is a policy where it was focuses to government revenue and government expenditure. Yes. It is normally reflected to what is government is incurring in certain different sources and what is government make expenditure, and the ratio of that is called your fiscal policy. Just a minute. Okay. Now we already discussed that. What is government earning, Pilamani? What is government earning? How government made earn?
Tax by collecting tax.
First one, it is a direct earning, indirect earning. डायरेक्ट अर्निंग में क्या होता है, जो डायरेक्ट टैक्सेस होते हैं जैसे लाइसेंसिंग हो गया, आपका सैलरी टैक्स हो गया, प्रोफेशनल टैक्स हो गया, ये होता है आपका डायरेक्ट टैक्स. इनडायरेक्ट सबसे आसान है जीएसटी. जो आप कुछ भी खरीदते हो, whatever you will buy, if you will have a receipt, you could able to see that is a CGST and SGST. That means what? That amount of money will go to the government by the road of that particular entity or intermediation of the seller. वो जो seller के through से ये गया कहाँ पे, government को गया. So ये है indirect, वो है direct. Government का earning very restrictive. Government का earning क्या है? एक है taxes, जो होता है direct and indirect. Second one होता है licensing, जो होता है direct. Third होता है penalty, जो होता है direct. फोर्थ होता है कस्टम चार्जेस एंड अदर चार्जेस रिलेटेड टू दैट, वो होता है डायरेक्ट. फिफ्थ होता है जो आपका होता है राशनिंग ऑफ द प्रोडक्ट, जनरल राशनिंग प्रोडक्ट्स, वो होता है इलेक्ट्रिसिटी बिल हो गया, पानी का बिल हो गया. सो वो होता है भी डायरेक्ट टू द गवर्नमेंट. गॉट इट? सो यू हैव दिस मच ऑफ रेवेन्यू और अर्निंग फ्रॉम द सॉरी
Ma'am, what is rationing product? What is rationing product?
What is rationing product? It has already been discussed. Rationing मैंने बोला था, government rationing करता है. कैसे rationing करता है? Wow, government was making rationing of commodity like electricity. So if you will being able to have a electricity supply to at your home, if you will make a unit of 200 units, then you have to give a particular amount to the government. You can say that right now government was sent or government was affixed some private bodies who are collecting this money on behalf of government, but it will be certainly go to the government. Like पानी का bill हो गया, fine, that is also go to the government. Fine. So came to the next one. कहाँ पे थी? So जो आपका revenue होता है, revenue क्या होता है? Income minus expenditure. I think. Am I wrong or right? आपका प्रॉफिट होता है
Right, ma'am.
इनकम माइनस एक्सपेंडिचर, वो हो गया रेवेन्यू. जो आपका रेवेन्यू हो गया, आप रेवेन्यू और आपका एक्सपेंडिचर को इफ यू विल टेक अ रेशियो, यू विल फाइंड आउट दिस इज व्हाट फिस्कल पॉलिसी. राइट? जैसे कि आपने सरकारी सैलरी दे दिया, आपने आर्म फोर्स खरीद लिया, these are all expenditures, you cannot make any kind of compromise on that. राइट? उसके बाद टोटल जो आपका इनकम था उसमें से रेवेन्यू बचा 15%. अब ये 15% में आप क्या क्या मैनेज करोगे? आप मैनेज करोगे डेवलपमेंटल एक्टिविटीज, क्रिएशन ऑफ हॉस्पिटल, स्कूल, डेवलपमेंट सेंटर्स, एक्टिविटी सेंटर्स, पार्क, क्लीनिनेस, प्लांटेशन, ये सब आपको वो 15% में एडजस्ट करना है, जिसका जो 100% पॉपुलेशन विल बी benefited out of that. But how much percentage of people on an average is sending the taxes to government? That is very minimum. Out of 100, it is around 20 to 23%. Now government revenue came from 20 to 23% population, but expenditure is for 100% population. Definitely government is always in a deficit condition. यदि आपका income अधिक है, if your income is very high and your expenditure is somehow manageable, then you definitely grow. But if your income is less and expenditure is very high, then definitely you are not supposed to grow. And that's why fiscal policy could able to or Indian fiscal policy always being affected by fiscal deficit. So what are the objective of fiscal policy? So there are basic objective of fiscal policy. क्या हो गया, जैसे कि you go through the slides, but I will tell you what are the basic objective of fiscal policy. First objective of fiscal policy, let me write. So this is objective of fiscal policy. Objective of fiscal policy. What are the first objective of fiscal policy? That is higher the economic rate. Higher the economic rate. That was the first objective of economic policy. Came to the second one. What is the second objective of economic policy? That is price stability. Price stability. That was the second objective of fiscal policy. Third objective क्या हो गया ना? Reduction in inequality. Reduction in inequality. That was the third objective of fiscal policy. Let me tell you one by one what is this fiscal policies are all about or objectives are all about. First one, higher the economic rate. Now what do you understand by economic rate? ये higher कैसे होता है? Economic rate कैसे higher होता है? Higher means बढ़ता है, growth होता है. कैसे होता है? जैसे कि ले लीजिए मिस्टर एक्स लास्ट ईयर मार्केट से पूरा साल मार्केट से 15 लाख रुपए का चीज खरीदा है, बट इस साल उसका सैलरी थोड़ा बढ़ गया है, सो उसने 20 लाख रुपए की चीजें खरीदे थ्रू आउट द ईयर. माइट विद जनरल यूटिलिटी प्रोडक्ट्स हो गया, या तो फिर उसने कुछ लग्जरियस खरीदा है, या तो फिर कुछ सेमी लग्जरियस खरीदा है. उसके हिसाब से उसने इस साल 20 लाख रुपए खर्चा किया है फॉर द जनरल यूटिलिटी सर्विसेज. सो क्या होता है जनरल यूटिलिटी सर्विसेज? उसमें आता है आपका फूड, इसमें आता है डे टू डे प्रोडक्ट्स, ये आता है जनरल यूटिलिटी में. जब इंडिविजुअल कंजप्शन एबिलिटी इंक्रीजेस, वी से इकोनॉमिक रेट इज इन अ ग्रोथ. नाउ द क्वेश्चन इज हाउ द इंडिविजुअल कंजप्शन रेट इंक्रीजेस. कैसे इंक्रीज होगा इंडिविजुअल कंजप्शन रेट, आप बताओ. ये वेरी इजी है.
प्राइस, कमोडिटी का प्राइस जब कम होता है.
वेरी गुड. या तो फिर कमोडिटी का जो प्रोडक्ट का प्राइस होता है वो फॉल डाउन करता है, तो आपका कंजप्शन एबिलिटी बढ़ता है, पर उससे तो इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ होगा नहीं, क्योंकि आपका 15 लाख खर्चा जो हुआ ना इस साल तो 14 लाख हो जाएगा, क्योंकि कमोडिटी प्राइसेस तो घट गए, नहीं ये तो कम हो गया, तो आपका पैसा बढ़ेगा नहीं भाई, इससे कमेगा. मतलब आप कम पैसा में बहुत चीजें खरीद रहे हो, इट इज योर मेंटल सेटिस्फेक्शन, बट इससे इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ नहीं हो रहा है. इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ कब होगा? अगर आपका कंजप्शन एबिलिटी बढ़ेगा विद इंक्रीज ऑफ मनी, मतलब आपका सैलरी बढ़ गया, राइट, आपका इंसेंटिव्स बढ़ गया, तो क्या होता है ना, जो 15 लाख आपका कमोडिटी प्राइस आसिफ है नहीं, बट आपके पास ज्यादा पैसा होता है खर्च करने के लिए. नाउ यू कुड एबल टू स्पेंड मनी विथ द एक्सपेंडिचर इन अ हायर रेट. गॉट इट?
But
सो
income tax with income tax also rises now.
डेफिनेटली यू विल पे मैक्सिमम इनकम टैक्स. तो आपका जो 5 लाख बढ़ा है कि 10 लाख बढ़ गया है सैलरी में, तो आपका इनकम टैक्स भी दोगे ना. सो उससे क्या होता है ना, गवर्नमेंट का इकोनॉमिक रेट विल बी गोइंग टू बी हाई. फिर प्राइस स्टेबिलिटी. फॉर एन एग्जांपल, आपका सैलरी नहीं बढ़ रहा है, 90% पॉपुलेशन डू नॉट हैव हाइक अप सैलरी, और मेड बी दे हैव कॉस्ट कटिंग, जैसे कि आपने अभी देखा है काफी मार्केट इज इन अ डिप्रेशन कंडीशन. जो भी लाइक मेरे बहुत सारे फ्रेंड्स, दे आर इन आईटी, दे आर इन नॉन आईटी सेक्टर इन बैंगलोर, चेन्नई, दिल्ली, मुंबई. दे ऑलवेज से दैट रश्मि, नाउ इट इज अ वेरी हार्ड पीरियड, क्योंकि मार्केट काफी डाउन है और काफी ज्यादा कॉस्ट कटिंग हो रहा है. So it was a reflection of US market might be, because those company who are attached with the US, or maybe those company who are the US based company, वहाँ पे ज्यादा cost cutting हो रहा है. So ले लीजिए, if the cost cutting was there in your salary, then you have to decrease your consumption. So for that, the government has to take an initiation that price has to be stable, so that your consumption ability will be similar as to the previous year. So वो क्या होता है? होता है प्राइस स्टेबिलिटी. अगर डिप्रेशन है मार्केट में, ये गवर्नमेंट का वन ऑफ द इनिशिएशन होना चाहिए. क्या? प्राइस को भाई बढ़ाओ मत, आप घटा नहीं सकते बट बढ़ाओ मत. Came to the third one, that is called reduction in inequality. अभी इनइक्वालिटी कैसे होता है? जैसे कि बहुत अच्छा सा एग्जांपल है पेट्रोल. A product which is petroleum products, you can see it was sold over in India. Every particular state में ये different price में मिलता है. Fine. क्या होता है? पेट्रोल, डीजल, ये different states में different prices में मिलता है. क्यों मिलता है different price में? यहाँ पे इक्वालिटी क्यों नहीं है? सिंपल थिंग इज, पहले क्या होता है ना, टैक्सेस की वजह से होता है, different फैक्टर्स वाज देयर. बट आफ्टर द इंट्रोडक्शन ऑफ जीएसटी, ये एक ही फैक्टर की वजह से होता है, वो होता है स्टेट टैक्स. जो कंपनीज ये हम लोगों को बेचते हैं, दैट वाज सोल्ड टू इंडिया विद अ पर्टिकुलर प्राइस फॉर इंडिया, एंड व्हिच इज बीइंग सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट बाय petroleum department. Now what happened? Petroleum department will send the petrol to each and every particular state as per the requirement with the dealer. जो भी डीलर होता है, लाइक एचपी हो गया, इंडियन ऑयल हो गया, रिलायंस हो गया, जो भी डीलर होता है, वो रिक्वायरमेंट्स के हिसाब से, मोनोस्पोरी मार्केट का आप ले लीजिए, रिक्वायरमेंट के हिसाब से वो लोग अपने डिपो में लाके रख देते हैं. और वो जब बेचते हैं, वो क्या बेचते हैं, मतलब वो सेंट्रल टैक्स में नहीं बेचते हैं, स्टेट वाले उस पे ज्यादा टैक्स डालते हैं. सो देयर अर्निंग वाज फिक्स्ड, देयर प्रॉफिट वाज फिक्स्ड, because we are only taking higher price in Odisha, because our state government is taking maximum taxes from this particular product, which is an essential or highly essential product. उसमें आप क्या देख रहे हो? अभी इनइक्वालिटी हो गया, बट गवर्नमेंट का काम क्या है? द ऑब्जेक्टिव इज रिडक्शन इन इनइक्वालिटी, बट यहाँ पे तो आप क्रिएट कर रहे हो इनइक्वालिटी. Why? Because this is one product through which government can create its revenue. State government can create its revenue. Got it? So these are the basic three objectives.
Ma'am,
Now, जी बोलिए. Yes.
what is the second point, ma'am? Objectives of policy में fiscal policy का?
Fiscal policy, the second point is price stability. Price stability, and third one is reduction in inequality.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, tools of fiscal policy में क्या आता है? Tools का होता है, पहला है, government has to restricted its spendings. That is the first tool. अगर government try to make restriction on the government spendings, then you could able to say that we could able to manage the fiscal policy at a certain rate. Then transfer payment. Transfer payment means government try to make payment for the individual social welfare, right? And student subsidies, social securities. यहाँ पे क्या होता है ना, subsidies वगैरह में काफी पैसा गवर्नमेंट खर्च करता है. If not, then we could able to say that fiscal policy काफी अच्छे रेंज में जाएगा. And taxes are the major tools through which government could able to make a revenue for himself. Components of fiscal policy, that is called government receipts, government expenditure and public accounts, that we will discuss in the next class. Don't worry if the syllabus will not completed. I will take 1 or 2 more classes to complete the syllabus. Fine.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Any
Thank you,
question? If you have any question, please ask below. Then we will close down. No question? Okay. Thank you. We will close down the class, and next test classes we will put the information in group. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.